So it's finally becoming fall, as we all can see, and I should be at work today, but I'm not. I'm out here enjoying nature, enjoying my piece of life, even though I have negative $60 in the bank account. Why? Because I would rather die than go back to that miserable job again. Die, I say. Die!
I joke. It's not that serious. I'm just using that to be a little extra because it makes for a interesting intro. So anyways, it's Monday. It's me, your host, Sprax, of the unofficial Car Talk radio show, or the radio show, Car Talk, the radio show, the unofficial show that is a show. Something like that. It's just, I've never, as you can tell, written that down. It's just something that came in my head one day when I was doing one of these, and I have to work on it because that was a mess. And as you see, the title's about jobs. Again, we're going to talk about jobs. You know, why nobody wants to work, which, to get right into the point, it's not that nobody wants to work as much as nobody wants to work for bad jobs / bad managers, employers, etc., right? And before we get into that, so I wasn't really joking about the negative $60. That's actually true. I have negative $63 in my checkings account. Now I do have money in savings, so I'm fine. And I have a few checks coming in this week. 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, I will be good again. But I just got a little overzealous paying off bills, and my calculations were a bit off. And I was like, oops, my bad. I don't have overdraft fees in my checkings account, so it's whatever. Neither here nor there. But I just wanted to put that little caveat out there. Kind of made a little oopsies. But anyways, let's talk about jobs. So I have a side job. It's a security side job. I talk about it every once in a while. I did it in the previous video where I talk about like bad managers and things. And I wasn't at that side job the previous weekend. As I told them not to schedule me, I'm going to be doing something else. And hey, if you do schedule me, I'm not going to be there. At this point, it's not even like me asking. Like, I don't really like that place. Nobody likes that place. So this wasn't me saying, hey, it wasn't me asking to be put off. It was me telling them I'm not going to show up. So just don't schedule me. I gave them a few weeks in advance. The thing I was supposed to do, I ended up not doing because I work when I'm not at that job. I work 7 days a week. I work out like 5 days a week. I was tired. But the thing I was supposed to do, I didn't do. I just did nothing that day, and I guess I needed it. So I went to the job the other day, after that week has passed. So I guess it's been 2 weeks since I hadn't been there. And the moment I show up, and mind you, I was incredibly late because my clock-in time was changed by our incompetent head manager, who I can't name and really say anything. Can't really name or be really descriptive about. People know what I'm talking about if they ever run across this. Well, let's just say he's terrible at his job, and absolutely nobody likes him. Nobody. I'm not joking when I say this. That's not hyperbole. I literally mean nobody likes him. This person is now like one of the heads of our department. He elevated, and he only elevated because other people retired. But with that, I saw last minute that my schedule was changed, and I was supposed to be in there 8 o'clock. And with that, I went, oh, well, that's too bad. I'm already late anyways. I'm not rushing. And I just casually made my way over to the job, not really caring. And when I showed up, one of my coworkers goes, there he is, as a way to greet me. And as a way to pretty much let me know, hey, they're going to need you today, because the coworker that this is a security job, by the way, but the coworker I ran to was doing gate duty. He doesn't do gate duty. That's not part of his actual, what he's hired for, but he was doing gate duty. Now, if he's there doing gate duty, in my head, I'm like, well, that means we don't really have anybody at the job today. Like, I've worked there long enough that I know certain things, especially this year. This year, I came back to the job. I usually take a year or 2 years off. I hadn't been there for 2 years, and I came back this year, and I know I'm not coming back unless some people don't have their positions anymore, as it's a disaster. It's a complete and utter disaster. And I'll mention why as I get back to the story. So the coworker, me and him start chopping it up, and he lets me know, he's like, yeah, bro, they have me here today. They had me over everywhere yesterday. So I'm just letting you know, you're either going to be doing what you're supposed to be doing, or they're going to have you up front because they're sending pretty much everybody up there because there's nobody at the job today. The only people we have here are supervisors. So the supervisors are, covering the entire place, and it's a big place. Everybody else is being thrown up front. So having that in mind, I was like, okay, clock in and immediately get sent up front. I wasn't shocked by it, obviously, because my coworker let me know. But here's the thing. The reason why all this happened, right? The reason why nobody's showing up is because of one of two reasons. The first reason is we have a very intelligent schedule where the morning shift is skeleton crew only, which is smart, incredibly smart, because at this location, and this location has a lot of people that show up to it, skeleton crew isn't a good idea when you're dealing with a lot of people, especially when you have an event in the morning, which is why my schedule got changed, because they were doing a very early opening and needed people for that, but they had nobody there as they are on skeleton crew. And for the second reason, which is nobody showing up anymore. People have been hired for this job, have gone to training or done one day and just no called, no showed until they're fired, which is something that is not typical for this job, because this job pays well and it is incredibly easy. One of the easiest jobs I have. That's why I go back to it every once in a while when I don't want to, do other things like freelancing, where I'm always using my brain, my camera equipment and everything, just pre-visualization, location scouting, this, that, and the third, or working on cameras doing camera operation in crowded venues or at sporting events that are like outside in the open, whatever. Like, there's things that is either physical, mental, or both, or just the other things I do, or even like for the channel, some of the videos that I'm working on. It's a lot of scripting. It's a lot of me using my media skills that I have. This job is none of that. This job is so simple. It's incredibly simple. That's why, like I said, I always go back. So for us to have this problem, it's because of one thing, and it's management. Management has destroyed the job. And I'm talking about upper level managers, not like lower level managers, lower level supervisors. They have nothing to do with it. In fact, being a supervisor at that job is a terrible thing to do. I've never done it. I will never do it, simply because the moment you become a supervisor, you get a very small raise, less than $1. That's all I really could say. And all the responsibility. They will work you to death, but they always get people to do it, because with a supervisor and the responsibility comes more hours, and people need the job. I was talking to one of my supervisors before, and he started very early in the morning, like, what was it? I think he started like 7, 8 o'clock, and didn't leave the job until 3 in the morning. Got a little sleep and did it again the next day. Why is he doing it? Because he has bills. I'm not going to get into his life and personal things, but he has a lot of bills because of, life and personal reasons. The job knows that, and that's how the job, gets away with just treating people as they do. That, and our managers, as I said, are just stupid. When I say incompetent, I absolutely mean that. One of lower level supervisors, we were talking, and he had to get on our head manager that does scheduling, the one that messed up my schedule, simply because that guy was chastising people on why they were doing X, Y, and Z with the amount of personnel that they had, to which he had to let them know the reason we only have X, Y, and Z doing this is because you made this schedule. You're the reason we don't have anybody here. It's that type of stuff. So as I got sent up front, and that part wasn't a problem. It's whatever, I'm just joking around, doing my job, and just chilling. But as I'm doing it, more and more people that are supposed to be in my position, the position that I do, are also coming up to the front and are helping out front, to the point where it began to dawn on me that all of us are up here. Every single one of us that did show up, we are here. And me and a coworker, who he's new this year, No, I looked at him. I just go, why is everybody up front? And he goes, man, I'm wondering the same thing. I don't know. I have no idea why. And it was just one of those days where you question the decision making more than you have before. And this year I've questioned a lot of decision making. It's to the point where I told people I'm not coming back. Unless people get fired or something, I'm not coming back. And I'm probably one of the last people remaining that isn't a supervisor role, that is seasoned here, that knows what he's doing. That's not, I'm trustworthy. And it's like, I'm over it. This is my retirement from this. I'm going to move on and focus on what I really do. I think it's just time to let this go. This is from my past life, and I came back to it after 2 years, and it's shown me that there's a reason some things just stay in the past. And as I'm talking to the newer guy, he goes, well, the pay's good and everything, but I think this is going to be my only year as well. I'm not coming back. This is just too much. And by too much, it means the lack of communication and everything else that I brought up. People don't quit, or for the most part, people don't quit jobs because the jobs suck, and just general the job sucking, as much as people quit jobs because bad managers are the reason why the job sucks. Like I said, our job is easy. It's incredibly easy. It's stupid easy. And the only reason why it's, complicated and pisses people off is because of management. People who were put into positions simply because others quit and retired, or were forced to retire, or maybe died, which goes to show that not everybody that's in an upper management role gets there because they are qualified, as much as they were just there at the right time, right place. So with that, it kind of relates to a situation a friend of mine is going through. Now, this friend of mine was laid off from his other job, and that was it was an HR decision. This had nothing to do with like his performance or anything. He's great at his job, but it was an HR decision laying people off, and it is what it is. So he finally gets a new job, and he gets a new job as an assistant manager. At least that's what he's told. He interviews, like I was there when he was on the phone for the scheduling his interview, and this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. He gets recommended by somebody he knows. Actually, let me change that. Somebody he knows talks to somebody else, who then speaks to somebody else, and that person calls him. So the person that he knows through a connection, this isn't their location, but it's the connection of the connection. They're the ones that need help. He interviews with him, gets the job on the spot, which is kind of a red flag. It's a salary position and everything, and blah, 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 blah. Immediately, the person that hired him shows that he's a power tripper. My friend is on his phone for something. He's like making an important call, and there's nothing happening at the shop. This is the auto mechanic shop. It's a franchise, right? And immediately, this the guy that hires him, who would be we'll say like a regional manager, he stops by the shop that day and mentions how he watches cameras, and he sees him on the phone and goes, I'll fire you if you're on the phone, which is an immediate red flag, because why is that the first impression that you're making with somebody that's not just new at the job, but somebody that's in a position that you need, somebody that's highly recommended, somebody that actually knows what they're doing. This was an assistant manager job. I don't remember if I said it or not, and it's a salaried position. He's getting paid more than like everybody else that's there because he knows what he's doing. He really does. So with that being his first instance of like really seeing that that regional manager in a working environment, me and him, because he was telling me about this, we immediately get that, okay, this is going to be a problem, but you're here to do what you got to do and then just move on to the next one. We're going to just use this as a stepping stone, get paid type situation. So, he's getting acclimated to the system. He sees that the job itself is incredibly problematic. The technicians there don't really know what they're doing at that spot. A lot of them, fake their resume. They claim they could do X, but they can only really do F. They're not as skilled as they say they are. Some suck, some don't. And he has technician skills and isn't, I won't say it's not a master, but he's proficient. Whatever would be, I don't know what will work. Like, he's above intermediate. He's not master level, but he's not intermediate either. He's somewhere between that, which is well more than these guys. A lot of them aren't even at intermediate level. And because of that, when he doesn't have to do office things, he goes into the shop and tells guys, why are you doing this when you could do this, or do it this way, ways that he's learned, that was taught by, master technicians, master mechanics, and I mean official master mechanics, people that know what they're doing. And his boss sees that and gets on him about it. His boss gets on him about helping I can't even get it out. It's so stupid. His boss gets on him about helping the people that are under them be more proficient at their job and better at their job, based on, and this was told for me like verbatim, we hire people to know what they're doing. If they don't know what they're doing, then they can go to a different job. This is what the regional manager says to him. And he goes, doesn't say it, but thinks it and tells me about it. He goes, "You're a fucking idiot. I'm working under an idiot. This man doesn't know anything that he's doing. And yet he's a regional manager. He has say over all of this." Oh yeah, I gotta go. I'm looking for new jobs immediately. And this is within the first week and a half of being at that job. Long story short, people were feeling some type of way that he was there, as he knows what he's doing and he's a people person. He's very good with customers. He's good at learning. He's everything that this store isn't. I started so it's gonna be a weird jump cut, start coughing there, but he's everything that store isn't. That store is your typical mechanic horror story. When people talk about don't go to X location or Y location because they'll rip you off, scam you, this, that, and third, break your equipment, they'll break your car. It's that type of location, and he's none of that. He is a professional's professional. Long story short, people start feeling some type of way because he's not one of those people, including the regional manager. Now, the regional manager doesn't say any of that, but you can get the idea of it. And he goes up to him one day. He's like, "You're good, man, but you're just not really what we're looking for. But we do need a technician. So, hey, if you like, we'll switch you from salary to hourly, and you can become one of our technicians." And my bro thought about it, because ultimately what it was an ultimatum. It was pretty much him going, "Hey, you could go look for another job, or we'll just switch you to something else." And of course, we knew what that meant. That meant you're making my assistant managers look bad, because you know what you're doing. You're not trying to scam people. You're not trying to do any of this. You're doing things the right way, selling jobs and yada yada yada. And if my boss starts seeing that, more attention is going to be on you. Why is our store suddenly profitable? Why is this working now? That's bad on me, and that's bad on my underlings. He didn't say all that, but you could read the room. So ultimately, my friend becomes a technician. He goes back to making a technician because he negotiates his pay, and essentially is making the same thing he did salary, hourly, with less of the stress. Even though he's already positioning himself to get out of that job, because it's somewhere where he's just be there to be there, but leave. And leave because of what? A manager that makes the job miserable. A manager who is very power hungry. But the only reason he has the job is because nobody else really wants to take it. And in this situation, he makes sure that nobody else can take it, because nobody else is going to make him look bad. But ultimately, he knows that he's getting out of this job. And speaking of management, there was one of the assistant managers of their region was training to take over a store. Was told that he was going to take over a store by the same boss. Is prepping himself, is learning, is really arrogant and really feeling himself because the guy that hired my friend as an assistant manager was also the guy that was telling him that he was going to be, a manager of a location because he was pretty good at doing all that stuff. Well, one day a new guy comes in and the new guy starts training. He's training for an assistant manager position as well. And he's from outside the shop, outside the region, outside the company. You might know where this is going. And he's training for a few days and everything's fine and dandy. Well, the other day they would learn that the new guy became a manager, a store manager, a manager of the store that the guy that was promised to get it works at. For my friend, he knows that he made the right choice, because if that's the type of person he has to work under as a manager, that's going to be one of his bosses as an assistant manager, the salary that he's making, the equivalent hourly now, wasn't going to be worth the headache. These stories that I'm telling them because a lot of people relate to them. They're not unique experiences at all. If you go on Reddit's anti-work or, browse around on YouTube, listen to people's stories, if you have friends, family members, fellow coworkers, watch news, anything where people share stories in any way, form in life, you will hear these type of things. The man losing his job, or not losing his job, the man not getting the job he was promised because somebody from the outside was hired, trained, and then took that position, that's nothing new at all. I remember when I used to work at Kohl's, and I can bring this up because I'm never working retail again. I left there 2016, let's just put it that way. But I remember I worked at Kohl's, and one of my coworkers was told that, he would become an assistant manager. So he was training for it, really putting in extra hours and everything else, because for him, there was something to level up and something to put on his resume, even if it is just a retail store and anybody can become an assistant manager. It was something that, he was going to use for then, get that small raise, keep on going, and then move on to something else. He never got that. He didn't get it at all. And the funny thing about it, or at least and I don't mean funny in like a funny way, but funny as in wow. I can't think of the actual proper word is. We were all there for that. I remember watching him, stay later than usual, take on extra hours just so he could train, learn the system, learn how to, be an assistant manager and everything, right? He would usually leave an hour or two early, but he would pick up extra hours for that. And he would tell us, he's like, yeah, they're telling me like, we're going to teach you, we're going to give you this role, and that's why he was doing it. Meanwhile, I was just there to make some money to help pay for my community college, my phone bill, and my bus pass. So the day he didn't get it, he was pissed. He was pissed because a different coworker got it. And me personally, I don't remember her training for it, but I didn't really pay attention to my coworkers to begin with. But a different coworker got it. She instantly was elevated to that. And she sucked at it. She was awful at it. She went on a power trip immediately. Didn't know how to talk to certain people, became super bossy, yada, yada, yada. And she probably was always like that. It just didn't come out until she got a little sprinkle of power. Even though that power didn't mean anything because it's a retail store. But just that little hit, that small little hit. And you saw her true colors. The guy that didn't get it, I don't think he would have been like that. He was a cool, relaxed guy. The most problematic he was that he was crushing real bad over one of our coworkers. Crushing real bad. It wasn't doing anything creepy or anything. It's just she would walk by and you saw it in his eyes. Just the heart jump out his chest and he's just, oh my God, just look at her. That boy was love struck. But that was it. I can't say boy, we were like the same age, but that was it. That was as problematic as he was. If he became an assistant manager, he would have been cool. You could tell with certain people that they don't care about the power. But hey, it is what it is, right? These are the things that happen in the work world. So when people say things like, nobody wants to work anymore. No, that's not true. People want to work. Like, I enjoy working. I like working. I like working in what I do, but working in the creative field and, hell, when I was at my university and I was making, when I was getting paid to do volunteer work at a YCMA, I loved doing that. I loved helping out, doing food. What is it called when I can't think. Doing food service, we'll call it food service because I can't even think of the word, but food drives, there we go. Helping out at food community drives that the YMCA was doing and everything. Like, yes, I was getting paid through federal work study, but I enjoyed doing it because it gave me a sense of community, a sense of like that I was doing something impactful, even if it was just for your average person who, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful or anything, but in like the grand scheme of the universe, it's just a small little blip of existence. None of that mattered. I was helping people out and it felt good. It was great. A lot of people want to work. My bro, when I was talking about the assistant manager, he loves working on cars. He realized he likes working on the more management side and wants to, keep elevating in that. It's something that he enjoys doing. He enjoys having like a hybrid role of being somebody that's knowledgeable, but somebody that can manage well because he realized that he's actually good at it. He wants to work, but he doesn't want to work for a bad manager. I don't want to work for a bad manager. None of my coworkers want to work for bad managers. It's not that people don't want to work. It's that managers and, companies, shareholders, and all those people, they make working suck. And that's why nobody wants to do it. But that's it. That's the video. Wanted to get that one out there. And as always, you know how it goes. Deuces. I'll see y'all in the next one. Oh yeah, if you made it this far, like and subscribe. I'm supposed to say that in the beginning of stuff, but I never do because whatever. Just not how I operate. But yeah, if you made it this far, I guess like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. You already know what it is.